Good morning. It's really a privilege this morning to offer a tribute, really as an expression of affection and appreciation for someone who's served the division so well for so long. I first met Marshall Freedman in 2005 when I got here, and that first week I think I went to 7 conferences, early morning, late afternoon conferences, and he was at every one of those conferences. Usually eating a bagel, but I was just so impressed that someone at his age was so curious and so inquisitive. And I remember talking to him that first week, and I said, if the medical students and the residents and the fellows had that same curiosity and same level of inquisitive spirit, medicine would be so much better for it. So what do we know about Marshall? Well, we know he's a man that likes his Metamucil, as you can see here. And in fact, he's been a national spokesperson for Metamucil since 1960. This was an early picture. This was taken about 2 weeks before the Lincoln assassination, when Marshall was still a medical student at UPenn. He then went on to do GI fellowship training at the Mayo Clinic. And back then, there weren't really any fellowships. I mean, you did a residency, and then you'd go apprentice with an expert. And the Mayo Clinic, of course, has always had a lot of experts. And if you were doing ID, you'd spend a year. If you were doing GI, you'd spend 2 weeks, rheumatology, an afternoon, and you'd get everything you need to know about each specialty. He came to Denver in 1954, and he learned to do semi-rigid upper endoscopy. And we've calculated that he's volunteered at multiple GI clinics for over 20 years. And he's probably attended more conferences than anyone else. And when Dennis Anand asked him, why did you do this? He said, well, I found the faculty interesting, and I loved the fellows. Now, interesting choice of words. He finds us interesting, but he loved the fellows. And this is a painting, one of his patients who really thought highly of Marshall. This is Marshall doing a rigid upper endoscopy, and this painting is in Marshall's house, and you can see the abstract and the beautiful colors here. Marshall has certainly been a Renaissance man. Marshall, I'm sorry if this sounds like a living eulogy. I apologize for that. It wasn't meant to be. I can tell you the things I miss the most about not having Marshall in clinic is just the daily interactions and just the humor that he brings every day to work. And 6 months ago, we were at the VA clinic, and an intern had presented a case, and he was very happy. He just got engaged, and he told us he had met his fiancée at Match.com. And so I asked Marshall, hypothetically, if I was to enroll you in Match.com, these are questions I've heard. I've never been on Match.com, but these are questions that I would imagine would be important. And so let's see how you would respond. And let's just enter you into Match.com. And so I asked him things that are important to you and things that you like. And his response to that was waking up on this side of the ground. And things that you like, he said, having a bowel movement. Back to the Metamucil. I mean, so I'd like to announce today, and it's a real privilege to do this, the Marshall Freedman Award that will be presented to the fellow once a year in perpetuity. So after you've gone to that great bagel shop in the sky, we'll still be thinking about you and really honoring, I think, the attributes that you embody so robustly and so beautifully. And those attributes are curiosity, wit, and perseverance. And so we debated what else to give you, something more tangible. We had given you a chair with an engraved name on the back about 8 years ago. I thought perhaps a commode might be more appropriate now. But instead we got you a pillow, a comfortable pillow with someone eating a bagel that we're going to give to you. Actually, Darla picked this out. And then We also have a booklet of testimonials of people. So, Marshall, thank you for your service.
Well, the noted author and scholar, columnist David Brooks wrote a new book, and it was excerpted in the New York Times about a month ago. And David Brooks writes, "About once a month, I run across a person who radiates an inner light. These people can be in any walk of life. They seem deeply good. They listen well. They make you feel funny and valued. You often catch them looking after other people, and as they do, so their laugh is musical, and their manner is infused with gratitude. They are not thinking about what wonderful work they are doing. They are not thinking about themselves at all. When I meet such a person, it brightens my whole day." Obviously, David Brooks was writing about Marshall Freedman. Marshall, thank you for teaching us to think less about ourselves, more about other people. Marshall has taught us also to be optimistic and positive. I asked him once, "Marshall, compared to things years and decades ago, how are things now?" And he said, "Oh, they're much better now." Marshall also taught us to eschew standards of sartorial contemporary values. He used to wear plaids, and he had 4 plaid days. He wore a plaid necktie, a plaid shirt, plaid jacket, plaid trousers, and they were all different colors and different patterns. And we thank you, Marshall, for teaching us so much and giving us these values and wonderful experiences.
Marshall, it's great to be part of this. I really have known Marshall for a long time. He's been really important in my life. When he told me that the reason he came to volunteer with us was because he found it collegial, interesting, and he loved working with the fellows. And that's really sort of the epitome of Marshall. Marshall's interesting. He's interested. He makes it collegial, and that's why we've been so blessed, actually, to have Marshall as part of our division. I was so blessed, in fact, that I wrote you a limerick, Marshall, and it goes something like this. "Here's to Marshall, the man that we so revere, as a colleague, a friend, and a volunteer. At 94, not as sprite, but his thinking just as bright. With great thanks, we hail you and your long career." Marshall, it's been such a treat over so many years to have you part of our division, and I can't tell you how much it's meant to me personally and to us as a group. Thank you.
Actually, I don't need this walker. It's just because I broke 2 legs this morning. Megan greeted us at the door this morning, and I pointed out to her that the rumors of my death had been greatly exaggerated. And I want to thank Hugo Brown, Dennis Rosen, and Bill Annan for their lovely eulogies. I've been accused of dyslexia, but it is true that they are turning me out to pasture at age 49, which is, I think, younger discrimination. I'm fortunate that Dr. Hazen is here today. I haven't seen, I don't know. Great. Going to speak? Is he supposed to speak? Because Darla said if we didn't have a famous outside speaker, we could hold this event in a telephone booth. It's really true that I have very much enjoyed contact. As anybody with perception notes, I have learned much more than I have taught. The staff and the fellows are without peer, and every day is a day of learning, collegiality, and fun. The best thing that could have happened to me in my life. So now that I'm being let go, and they're cutting off my salary, for my next career, I've decided to go into private practice, and I'm going to hang out my shingle, and I'll be a specialized consultant in GI for people who need the GI of the 1950s or 60s. I can bring them all the information available then. Hold hands, treat them with Donatol until they get toxic, and then send them to real doctors. Thank you so much for recognizing this. I didn't expect it, but as you can imagine, I am delighted. My family are thrilled, and I did get a bagel.